my god.
Hello and welcome to Total Football Analysis. Today we will take a closer look at the Champions League final. For the first time since 2008, the Champions League final was an all-English affair pitting Tottenham against Liverpool. Liverpool lined up in their usual 4-3-3 with the same back four which has featured in most of their games in the second half of the season. One of the heroes of the semi-final, Divock Origi, dropped out for Firmino, who as always was flanked by Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. Tottenham's lineup did perhaps feature a few more surprises than their domestic rival. The returning Harry Winks partnered Moussa Sissoko at the base of midfield. Ahead of them were Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli and Son. Harry Kane recovered in time to take his place in the starting 11, which perhaps controversially meant that Lucas Moura, the man who scored a hat-trick in the semi-final to beat Ajax, dropped to the bench. Liverpool took the kick-off by laying the ball all the back from the center spot to Joel Matip, who aimed a long, raking diagonal ball towards Tottenham's right-back area. As the ball travels, Mane and Firmino move into a position to challenge the England fullback. Liverpool clearly felt as though it would be easier to regain the second ball from a loose defensive header from a Tottenham defender than it would be to try and play through the entire Spurs team, and this became a feature of Liverpool's game. Trippier's header is returned by Van Dijk, with the ball eventually landing at the feet of Jordan Henderson. At this moment, Tottenham's defensive line is in a less than ideal shape. Liverpool attacker Mane has picked up a dangerous position between the opposition central defender and fullback. Both centre-backs are focused on the ball rather than the potential run of Mane in behind. Henderson lobs the ball over the high Tottenham defensive line. Mane collects the ball inside the Spurs box, and in an attempt to reorganize the defense, Moussa Sissoko raises an arm to point instructions to his teammates and subsequently handling the ball, causing a penalty for Liverpool. Tottenham looked for a slow and patient build-up, progressing the ball from the goalkeeper into the defenders before being played on the ground into the attacking players. Spurs operated with a double pivot of Winks and Sissoko, who would both come short for goal kicks. When Lloris had the ball, the centre-backs would split and Trippier and Rose would move high and wide. Sissoko and Winks would drop either side of Firmino and look to receive the ball and turn into the space between Liverpool's attacking trio and midfield line. When building up, central defenders Vertonghen or Alderweireld would usually be presented with two options. Either play the ball to the feet of Sissoko or Winks, or look for a ball down the line to Trippier or Rose. Liverpool's press involves funneling the opposition into the center of the pitch, where they are more vulnerable for a turnover. In order to do this, the pressing runs of Mane and Salah are pivotal. The two wide men would position themselves between the centre-back and full-back to prevent a simple pass down the line. We can see that both Winks and Sissoko are surrounded by Liverpool players. Should the ball be played into either of the two midfielders, they would immediately be swarmed by all angles. Henderson and Wijnaldum are in close proximity to press from the blind side, which is where a lot of Liverpool's pressure regains occur. Tottenham were 1-0 down and needed to be brave on the ball. When they were brave in possession, they were able to play through Liverpool's first line of pressure and found themselves getting into dangerous positions. Given the nature of Liverpool's pressing, at times Tottenham used Sissoko as a decoy to attract Wijnaldum high up the pitch. By shifting the ball quickly between Alderweireld and Vertonghen, they were able to open up an angle for the ball to be played into Kieran Trippier. From this position, Christian Eriksen has dropped inside of Andy Robertson into the space vacated by Sissoko and Wijnaldum. Trippier drills the ball into Eriksen's feet, which eliminates 5 Liverpool players. Eriksen is able to turn and play the ball into Winks, opening up the rest of the pitch. When the ball reaches Winks, he has two options if he is able to trap the ball and release it quickly. He could play the ball into Alli, bypassing Fabinho and Henderson, or he could play it wide for Rose to attack the space left by Henderson and Salah. In this case, an almost identical situation has developed. Tottenham have worked the ball into Trippier in the right back position. They have attracted 4 Liverpool attackers using Sissoko as a decoy. Eriksen is coming towards the ball to receive a pass to feed, which in turn attracts Robertson forward. Trippier chips the ball over Eriksen and Robertson into the feet of Kane. Central defender Van Dijk has to come forward with Kane to prevent him from turning into space. Kane drops the ball off to Eriksen. Alli is making a run into the space that is vacated by Van Dijk. Eriksen plays a pinpoint through ball into the path of Son, who is cut inside from the left wing. As a result, Spurs have a 2 vs 2 situation in a huge amount of space in the Liverpool half. Once Tottenham were able to progress the ball a little further into the middle and final third of the pitch, they arranged their midfield in a box shape. Sissoko and Wings are playing as a double pivot, with Eriksen and Ali picking up positions between the defensive and midfield lines of Liverpool. This shape gave Tottenham a 4 vs 3 advantage in the midfield area. On the left hand side, Son stayed high and wide, forcing Alexander-Arnold into deciding whether to stay wide and track his runs or to press Ali in the half space. A similar situation occurred on the right wing. Christian Eriksen was selected as the nominal right winger, but his position was often more what is shown in this image. When he moved inside, Andrew Robertson had the same predicament as Alexander-Arnold. Eriksen is one of Tottenham's most creative players, so he has to be pressured when he receives the ball in space. But on the other hand, Trippier is Tottenham's best crosser, so he can't be left to cross the ball with time and space. Despite Eriksen and Ali picking up dangerous positions, Tottenham at times had difficulty picking them out and capitalizing. This was due to poor execution of the passes, but also due to Liverpool's narrow midfield three, making it hard for them to be easily bypassed. Sissoko was perhaps the only Tottenham player who had some joy in this area. His passing range and dribbling were both a huge weapon in the Spurs midfield. In this situation, Sissoko is found by Vertonghen and is able to turn due to the high position of Rose, but also a slight misjudgment from Henderson. Ahead of Sissoko, Ali and Eriksen are in dangerous positions in the half spaces. Sissoko found himself in situations like this a number of times, but was often let down by poor decision making in the final third. Another thing that made it difficult for Tottenham to create clear-cut chances was the 4-5-1 mid-block employed by Liverpool. Liverpool were able to restrict the space available for the likes of Ali and Kane to operate. They were fairly confident in this situation that they could stifle the Tottenham attacks, as there was no huge threat in behind. In the second half, Tottenham switched their attacking shape. Instead of attacking with 2 players in the half spaces, they attacked with 1 player in between the lines and 2 further attacking players next to the number 10. This was much easier for Liverpool to defend. We can see that Eriksen is positioned in Fabinho's cover shadow, and any pass into him would be extremely risky and difficult to pull off. Both Ali and Son are slightly narrower than Tottenham's wide players were in the first half. This made it far easier for Liverpool's fullbacks to mark them, as they only needed to worry about 1 opposition player. Tottenham were only able to create 1 opening of note with this attacking shape. This occurred when Eriksen dropped into a deeper role following the substitution of Harry Winks. In the deeper role, Eriksen had more time and space to pick line-breaking passes. In this case, his pass finds the feet of Son, who has Lucas, Ali and Kane all in close proximity to him. Son flicks the ball around the corner to Kane as Matip moves close to him. Once Kane controls the ball, Tottenham have a 5 vs 3 situation. Both Robertson and Alexander-Arnold have Min making runs inside and outside of them. This was an incredibly promising opening for Spurs, but yet again they were let down in the final third by poor execution and decision making. Tottenham had a number of different defensive shapes. At times, Kane and Eriksen formed the first line of defense with Ali and Son on the wings. This formed a 4-4-2 shape. From goal kicks, Tottenham would set up in a 4-3-3. Kane would be the central player of the first line of press, flanked by either Son and Ali or Son and Eriksen. When Liverpool progressed the ball into Tottenham's half, Spurs would drop back into a more rigid 4-4-1-1 shape, with Eriksen, Ali and Son defending just off Kane. Unlike when Tottenham had a goal kick, Liverpool were offered quite a lot of space on the edge of the area should they choose to play through the middle of the pitch. Liverpool were at times able to take advantage of Tottenham's man-oriented pressing system. In this case, Spurs players have all moved into a position to defend a member of the opposition. However, Van Dijk has minimal pressure applied to him. Wings is left to defend the middle of the pitch alone. When Firmino drops deep and Henderson advances slightly, Wings is caught in a 1 vs 2 situation in the center of the pitch. In just a short number of passes, this attack eventually reaches the edge of Tottenham's box and Mo Salah puts a shot wide. The narrow attacking trio that Liverpool operate with gives them a greater chance at securing possession from long direct passes. In the shown situation, we can see the closeness of the front three. Another common aspect of Liverpool's style of play is the rotations between midfielders and fullbacks. Wijnaldum is dropping into the left back position, which facilitates the movement of Andy Robertson. As Matip moves forward with the ball, Robertson is wide open on the left hand side. However, the game plan from Liverpool is clear, as Mané makes an out-to-in run into space behind the centre backs, looking to latch onto Matip's long ball. The nail in the coffin was confirmed when Divock Origi lashed home the second goal in front of the Liverpool supporters. The goal resulted from a half clearance which seemingly bounced around before randomly finding the feet of Origi, who was free in the box. Divock Origi made a run around the back of the Spurs defense to attack the back post, being unmarked. Following the half clearance, a number of the Spurs players begin to move out of the box. But the 4 Tottenham players who are still inside the box and aren't making a dash upfield are clustered together in a very small amount of space. To their right is Origi, who has got himself onside and remains unmarked. Matip calmly lays the ball into Origi's path, who finishes with aplomb. Whilst many were disappointed that the Champions League final wasn't the high-scoring end-to-end spectacle that some neutrals may have hoped for, from a tactical point of view, this one was fascinating. With both sides incredibly familiar with each other due to their many meetings domestically, both were wary of falling into the traps the other side was laying for them, and as such slightly modified their playing style.